In a world where tomorrow's blockbusters reign,
three millennials look back on our generation's classics.
Our generation's classics,
And remember. Hey everyone. Welcome to Millennials at the Movie House, the podcast where three friends watch our generation's beloved movies of yesterday and review them from our modern adult perspective. I'm Betsy.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Serena.
And today we watched The Big Lebowski, 1998.
The dude
abides. 1998, written and directed by the Coen brothers, starring Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore, and David Huddleston, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, and a bunch of other people, but whatever. Anyway, quick synopsis, Tracy, go.
Okay. I don't think there is a quick synopsis.
I was going to say.
Well, it's either like a really quick synopsis or like go. So
what I'm going to say is that The Big Lebowski is about bowling, mistaken identity, and PTSD.
Yep. That's about it. That wraps it up.
That's what I got out of this movie, at least.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm like, should I go into? No, that's about it. Yeah, and the dude abides, and that's about it.
Yep. I read, I think it's on Wikipedia, that the Coen brothers were trying to do a Chandler, a Raymond Chandler, I think, type movie, which was kind of episodal, I guess. Like it took places in bits and pieces, and quote, a hopelessly complex plot that ultimately was unimportant.
Yeah. The plot really isn't important here. It's just it's just a vehicle for the themes and the characters, really. Yeah. Good synopsis, Tracy.
Thanks.
Per usual.
I didn't forget this time, and I was thinking about it, and my first thought was, I'll interrupt you and make you do it, because and then I was like, all right, no, what would I say? How would I sum this up? And I couldn't. I was like, I could just ramble forever. Like, I don't know.
Basically, the dude is that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And his rug gets ruined, and he wants a replacement, and then hijinks ensue. I
feel like he's like that guy that's kind of scrubby, has some passionate friends.
Well, it's the way that so you've got the narrator of The Stranger, and he basically sets it up at the beginning. He's like, everyone knows that guy. Like he's his own archetype. He's his own character archetype. So that's what he represents, and it's true. Like every town, everyone has that guy. Yeah,
it's usually like at a bar or someplace, or a bowling alley. I'm like, honestly, like if you replace bowling with trivia, this is what like.
Yes.
I know people like this at trivia. Like
trivia
they're there.
Is the new bowling.
It is.
God,
and like
they take
it.
New bowling.
Yeah. They take it like, you know how like he was flipping out when he's like, your toes over the line. Yeah. It doesn't count. Take it up. They changed the what was it? The championship or whatever it was to a different day. And he like flipped out. I'm like, trivia people are exactly like that. Their phones were out. They didn't put the right thing.
Yeah. Yep. You're not wrong. Wow. All right. Let's hop in. My first question is, I'm assuming nobody's seen this movie before. Has anyone seen this movie?
Watched the first probably 5 minutes of it a very long time ago, because I was like, this movie, everybody should watch this movie. I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh no, I don't know what this is. I can't. So I've always had a very negative connotation to this movie, because for some reason, I made it through much more this time before I started thinking like that again, though.
Okay. Fair. And Serena, you've never seen it. I mean, have you heard quotes or seen clips or whatever from it?
I've never seen it. I did know the name. I thought it was something totally different.
Same.
And then I was like,
please don't tell me you started watching it with the kids.
No, they were at school.
Okay.
like maybe it's about sports. Like I thought it was a sports term. So then I had that in my head. I had all these misconceptions and
which is fair, because if you've only and it's the same for me. I mean, I watched it for the first time, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and before that I had always just heard of the title, and I never what was a Lebowski, because it sounds, when you say the Big Lebowski, it doesn't sound like it's referring to a person. It sounds like it's referring to a phrase or a thing or a place, or so yeah,
or a baseball term.
Right, yeah.
I guess it does sound like it's like something you would name a heist. Like, oh, yep, we're going in, we're doing the Big Lebowskis. Yes. But I knew, I must have, just because of, I just knew it was the guy's name.
Yep.
But I thought the Big Lebowski was the dude.
Right.
And the Big Lebowski was the other dude. Right. The other guy.
I got you. That's fair. So what is everyone's knowledge of Coen Brothers movies?
What's that? Zero.
Well, so I had watched Raising Arizona.
Yep.
I've seen bits and pieces of, I must have seen the whole thing of Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yep.
Fargo. I had seen Fargo.
Burn After Reading.
I haven't seen that. You know what? That's with Brad Pitt, right? I think I have seen that one.
This is definitely qualifies as like quintessential Coen Brothers.
Yes.
I definitely put it with Raising Arizona, Fargo, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, that whole grouping.
Yep.
It's the right amount of Coen-esqueness for me.
Yep.
I feel like they didn't go overboard with this. But that's because I had the reference point of those other movies. Serena, of all the movies we just listed, have you ever seen any of them?
Zero. None of
them.
This
was your first Coen Brothers movie. Congratulations.
What's Fargo?
It's a really good movie.
Okay.
Arguably.
You might not be a fan of Coen Brothers.
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
I associate that this is mumblecore. It's not mumblecore, but it's like it's whatever it is. It's that.
I got you. It's
a much to do about nothing.
It's the previous generation's mumblecore. You are absolutely correct.
The much to do about nothing definitely can feel frustrating. Like I still am not. I watched the movie fresh, like just finished it, and I still don't fully understand what happened
because it's about nothing.
It's not important.
Right.
Okay.
The other thing about their movies is they're 100% character based.
Yes.
And the characters are quirky characters.
Yes.
Every single one of the ones that we've mentioned, they have really quirky characters. So Fargo, Frances McDormand's character is just amazing in that. And then Raising Arizona, Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter, both of them. Oh my God. So you have their platforms for these actors to do these amazing roles. And for that reason, I'm okay with it because they all nail them. So,
yep.
I wasn't expecting it to be so funny, and I was happy it was. It was like light and funny. Maybe is this what's called dark comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it because it was like not too heavy, and
it's dark comedy because it's comedic, but it's still really serious content. So like you're
like
dealing
death
with
and like
you're dealing with kidnappings and deaths and like,
violence.
Robbery and break-ins, but it's still funny weirdly. So it riding that line can be a really hard thing to do. But going back to the idea of Coen brother movies being character studies, I definitely Big Lebowski falls into that category. And not even Jeff Bridges as the dude is amazing, but John Goodman as Walter, I think he steals the show in this movie a lot. That is,
I'm trying to remember. I was
absolutely.
I didn't do any research. I was trying to remember what I knew him from.
Everything.
Did you ever watch Roseanne growing up?
What?
Roseanne.
Oh, that's how I know him. Yeah.
He is Sully from Monsters Inc.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay. So So generally speaking, Trey, you weren't a big fan of the movie?
I went in with a negative attitude because I remember like immediately turning it on and immediately turning off. I did like it for the majority of it. I was into it. I was like, oh, what was my issue before? I liked the dude. I kind of like, I felt bad for Donnie, but I thought it was kind of funny. Every time he talked, they'd be like, shut up, Donnie, whatever, you know. Walter's rants or whatever I thought were really funny. And even I was like, oh, the mistaken identity, missing girl. I was all for it. And then when it got to, I want to say like when Julianne Moore got in there and the weird, like trippy scenes, I was just like, what and then it didn't really have an ending. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I stopped paying attention and that's why I don't know what happened.
It's interesting you say that because I felt the same way at the end. So I watched it twice in the last 24 hours. The first time watching it, I got to the end and I was like, did they wrap it up? Like, why are they just bowling nonchalant? Like, what is happening? And then the second time around, I'm like, oh, okay. It's a
blip where they're like, oh, she's back. She never went missing.
Right. And he's like, oh, and there was never any money in the first place. So nobody owes anybody any money. And that was it.
They were still trying and I was like, okay.
What told us that she was back? Was it her driving the car?
He sees her in like she's streaking in the backyard when he goes to confront Lebowski.
Oh, is that what? Okay. There was like a car. There was like a crashed car or something,
which we had seen she was driving that in the previous scene. And then we saw the crashed car and then they went in and they were like, oh, there she is. Where was she? Okay. And Philip Seymour Hoffman was like, yeah, she went up to, to visit some friends and she didn't tell anybody and she's back now. It was a very quick, because we were focused on the fact that he was going to confront Lebowski.
Yeah.
That we got like this very important piece of information on his way to do something else. And we're like, oh, again, it's not important at that point, but it was still.
It was. You were like, I just need to know at least a little something. Right. Jeez.
And the other thing that I was expecting you to say, and maybe you agree with me, it felt long. Like I feel like they could cut maybe 20 minutes, half hour out of this.
Yeah, the whole like trippy scene. Get that out of there.
Actually, you're talking about like the
dream sequence,
dream porno sequence.
Yeah,
I really think it's funny. That's like very iconic of this movie. That was the clip that I have seen my whole life.
I mean, I think it is like part of the poster too. I think at one point, but I'm just
that's the most Coen Brothers aspect of this movie. If you've ever seen, I hate the movie Hail Caesar. Hail Caesar is that clip for the entire movie.
No, I don't like that is like the ending of American in Paris for me. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
I don't care.
Get to the point.
If it's a music video and you do that stuff, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
it's a short clip. It's supposed to be artsy. No, I don't need that in my movies. I don't need that in my.
It had nothing to do with anything.
No,
it wasn't progressing any characters or storylines or anything.
Nothing.
I got you. I understand. That's fair.
Yeah, I was a little confused, and then I was like, so one was he was roofied or drugged, and the other one was he was knocked out, and that's what caused each of those. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Serena.
Yes.
Overall, how did you like this movie?
So I appreciated that. I appreciated that it wasn't too serious, even though there were some serious things, serious matters. I didn't know what to expect going into it, so I wasn't kind of like mentally prepared, and then I was pleasantly surprised at like the light and airiness of it, and some funny scenes, and how dumb Walter is, and all of them really. What's Walter's character's name again?
Walter.
No. His actor, his name in real life.
John Goodman.
And then Julianne Moore was the woman with the bangs.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually think she did a very good job for the role. I understand why you wouldn't like the character necessarily, but
she was good. Job. And Tara Reid, I forgot that.
God, she was young.
Like her relevance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she had like a period of time where
she was just around everywhere.
I forgot about. I didn't know. I'm looking at her, I'm like, why does she look familiar? I'm like, oh, I think I know her. Yeah, I liked it. I don't know. It was nice. It was actually entertaining. Like I was looking forward to finishing the second half of it today.
I'm actually not super surprised that you liked it. Not in a good way. I mean, a lot of people like this. It's totally fine. It's fair that you like. But yeah, it seems like it's your type of humor. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what was everyone's favorite part?
One of the scenes that made me kind of laugh, and I knew it was going to end up being something when they were beating on the red Corvette or whatever that they thought was Larry's.
Yeah.
And I knew chaos was going to ensue, but
the second he went for the car, you're like, that's not his car.
I'm like, something's off. Something's going to be off here. But that was one of the funnier scenes. So that was good. I liked the I don't know, I just liked the interaction between the three guys.
I'd be okay if you pegged that as your favorite part,
because like the interaction between the
oh shoot,
that's you're in darkness. What happened?
Can you hear me first off?
Yes.
Okay. We don't know. We lost power.
But like, I mean, it's raining, but it's not like we're in hurricane season.
Yeah.
I we lose power a lot around here. So who knows? And you remember where I left off.
I think we were talking about favorite parts and we were going over character parts for Serena. And then I don't think I said what my favorite part was.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't really have a favorite part. I do kind of like Jeff Bridges. I like his like attitude. I like the dudism. I like the, I think what I will say at least is the toe. I will say that because it was a perfect, it was a perfect Chekhov's gun type thing that actually didn't mean anything. But the first introduction you have to Bunny, right? Is that her name, Bunny?
Yeah.
Is she's painting her toenails this very vivid blue color. And she's like, here, blow on my toes so they dry. It was very in your face about her toes. And then when they send you the toe, it has the same blue nail polish and it's like very in your face. And you're like, okay,
It was a very clear beginning, middle, end because you get the payoff at the end when the random girl has lost her toe.
Yes. Yeah. We got this.
So my favorite part, so it's going back to the idea of the Cohen-ness of it. I put my favorite part as this is the perfect amount of Cohen-ness for me. It doesn't go overboard, but there is that artistic style to their filmmaking, which I appreciated. That said, I really liked Serena's answer, which was the three of them. I really like it when you have a group of characters just sitting there talking, and the way they talk is imperfect. They talk over each other. They can't find the right words. They mistake. Oh my God, the Lennon part where he just keeps saying, "I am the walrus. I'm the walrus." I think those are genius. Those are genius little moments of writing.
Yeah,
so I totally agree with that.
I know this is going to be a far out connection. But I always think of like those moments. I do love those real moments between people. I think of the movie The Birds. Have you ever seen The Birds?
Ooh. Hitchcock, right?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's obviously it's like a horror type, like be scared of the birds type things. But at the whole beginning part of it is you have these characters that have a backstory, have a past, are talking about things that ultimately don't have anything to do with it, but they have such a rich history and conversation that you're like,
I know exactly what you're talking
what I mean?
about, yeah.
So that's when I see that, I automatically, for some reason, that is like the penultimate example for me is The Bird. So,
and I think that that's very telling of strong writers because I mean, Hitchcock, of course, like you can't, oh my God, you can't beat him. So yeah, I think that's fair. I like that. Oh man, The Birds. I could do a rewatch on The Birds. Serena, add that to your list.
The Birds.
The Birds. All right. How was this movie millennial? Is it millennial?
Well, let's let's go back. It came out in
Let's break
98.
this down a little bit.
Where was everybody in 98?
I was 10.
I was 13. I was in 8th grade.
12. Yeah, it would have been 12.
I could make the argument that this is for the elder. No, hang on. The elder millennials fell into the demographic of this movie when it came out, in my opinion. Is that right?
I would argue that the demographic was our parents.
Yeah, I think, well, I would make the argument that it could be our parents or Gen X.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it, it almost felt like Gen X's interpretation of that next, what's the next step up? Boomers?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Gen X's interpretation of boomers, because their archetypes, the dude and Walter are just these very clear archetypes.
Yeah. Okay. I buy that.
Yeah.
So however, at the so I think the aim, I think we've decided that the aim was for Gen X, but it didn't really do all that well.
What's Gen X again?
It's like the
it's the next generation step up from us.
Yep, before
like
us.
Our parents.
No,
it's
the gap between the two.
Okay. Yeah, because I would have not been allowed to watch this at 12 years old.
No,
this was not for kids. This was not a kids movie.
So if that's the what they were aiming for, and the movie did not that well, but it has fallen into cult status.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think Gen X and then elder millennials have reclaimed
have
it,
adopted
almost.
It. Yeah, that's fair.
But I could see the argument for it not being.
Well, and it's also, it goes back to what you were saying, is like there's a certain type of people who like Coen Brothers and like Big Lebowski. I mean, for good or for bad, whatever. But I don't know. Putting it into an age range almost isn't fair for this movie.
Yeah, it's a movie lovers movie.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I want to veer away just for a minute and talk about the fact that it has spawned a religion.
Yes. Judaism. Judaism.
So
the Church of the Latter-day Dudes.
Yep, it is an official organization. Yeah, I shout that out. And if anybody wants to convert to Judaism, is it Judaism?
Judaism? Maybe it's Judaism. I thought it was Judaism, like Judaism.
Oh, that would make sense too.
But maybe not. I don't know.
So I guess we've kind of already answered this question, but I had also posed the question of why do we think the dude is the cult hero that he is?
I mean, I think there's a strange freedom that he offers. He lives his life the way he wants to. He drinks and hangs out with his friends and plays and bowls. Like that's all he wants to do, and he does it. So I feel like there's a freedom to that.
Yeah.
Like no responsibilities. He gets with the girl. Again, she wants to get pregnant, but he doesn't have to have the responsibility of raising a kid. Like whereas my everyday, all it is responsibilities. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're like, what do I want? I want his life. I want to not worry about anything and just be a total dude.
So the other thing that I had written down was the idea of the stranger being the narrator.
Oh yeah.
And the stranger, I had to look this up because I was like, why? I didn't understand what they were trying to tell us with the stranger. And I think the idea is that the stranger represents what a hero used to be. And they chose the Western, and Westerns are the classic. Yeah. And so it's almost like he's handing off the mantle of hero to this new generation, which totally makes sense to me now that somebody else has explained it to me. But
it makes sense.
That makes sense. That does.
But I don't think the dude, like a cowboy, he did want to save the girl, and he did want to, stick up for the town and take out the bad guy, the bank robber or whatever. The dude doesn't want to do any of that. So I want to say it's the anti-hero. It's what's the antithesis? Is that the opposite of the hero?
I felt as though dude kind of I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. de-escalated the situation on all fronts many times.
Yes.
And
I agree with everything both of you have said. In Western, and I think that's why they chose the Western genre for The Stranger, because generally speaking, the cowboy is an anti-hero as well. He begrudgingly helps. It's not often where that he's like, oh, I want to be the hero. He's like, oh God, I have to be the hero. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And I think that the dude does do that because he's constantly fighting against Walter. Walter doesn't care at all.
That's true.
But he's like, no, she's our responsibility. We have to save her. Blah blah blah. He hates it, but he does it.
You're right.
Yeah.
He does care. Like he's not like uncaring.
Right. Yeah. Like he has good intentions, but he's also lazy.
Right.
Go ahead, Serena.
Oh yeah. No, what was the last section? I think I wanted to say something. What was
Millennial versus Gen X versus
I just wanted to mention the bag phone, but I didn't know if that was the right area to mention the bag phone.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes. Oh, the bag phone. So this movie was set in 1998. This movie came out in 1988. It was set in the early 90s. And I kept forgetting that throughout the movie because we're so far removed from the 90s. Like the 90s is just an all-encompassing thing. But it's technically a period film in the sense that it was not set in the time it was made. So that
what made that clear was it was the phone.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And at the very beginning, first off, he's writing a check for like 98 cents or something like that. So he's writing a check and
excuse me, it was 69 cents.
Oh, apologies.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. But they had the Kuwait war going on. And that was anyway.
Yes.
So that set, without saying it is 1990 and blah blah blah, it like set the time period.
All right, guys. Notes roundup. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about?
I didn't like the ferret scene.
Oh my God, I had to the entire time I had to be like, it's not a real ferret, it's not a real ferret, it's not a real ferret, because like they cut it well, but they did cut it, and I just that one.
I read that like the trainer was on scene with it, and all they did was they did drop it into the water and they immediately scooped him back up, and that was the only thing that they did. Like you give your dog a bath, you give your cat you know what I mean? They're not probably happy about it, but they're not hurting it or doing anything.
Right.
And it was that quick of a snippet to see like the real ferret, and everything else was fake. But they did such a good job that I got very uncomfortable and I was like, what is happening right now? I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable.
I'm 100% with you on that.
It's the screaming of the animal that makes you think that they're being hurt or tortured or something, that anyone with a soul gets on. I feel like would get just a little, or at least if you don't know 100%, like I didn't know 100%. I was like, I really hope that this isn't real.
I had to look it up. That's how much I was concerned about it, because I was going to either be, that would have been my whole spiel this entire podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
The other note that was mentally in my head, dude, where's my car?
Yes. Oh my God.
So I never picked that up before.
Me neither.
Where's your car, dude? I'm like, dude, where's your car?
Yep.
And I wonder, it's got to be purposeful.
It has to be purposeful. Has to be.
Like,
I feel like whoever wrote that,
I feel like it was the next iteration. It was like, okay, these are the new stoners for this next generation after the dude. Yeah.
Because they were like, no, they watched the Big Lebowski and was like, it's a show about nothing, and saw this one line, and they're like, we could make a movie about nothing based on this one line.
Yes. And you know what? It's not half bad.
It's not okay. So I listened to another podcast that did a review on that movie, and they were like, it's a horrible movie. I can't. And I was like, no,
it is.
Is it? It's bad, but it
knows it's bad. It's purposeful.
It is what it is. It's got a place in time in movies. I'm sorry.
Yes,
it just does.
Yes, it does. Yep.
Which one? Dude, where's my car?
Yeah.
Dude, where's my car? So somebody we haven't mentioned, and I want to call him out every time he's in a movie, is Peter Stormare. He he does his job. He has this job in Hollywood where he just plays variations of the same character and doesn't get any credit for it, but he's always so rock solid in that role, and he's been doing it for decades.
It's so funny because I also was like, oh, who is that guy? And I'm like, I can't even. And I looked at his he's been in a ton of movies, and I'm like,
ton of movies.
What is the one that I'm thinking of? And I can't even think of.
Is it Armageddon?
No, I mean, I saw it in that, but I think.
Is it Constantine?
No, I think he
was. Is it Minority Report?
No, I think it's Prison Break is the one that I'm thinking of.
I forgot about Prison Break.
I forgot he was in Prison Break.
Yeah, yes. I think that's what it was. I mean, like I said, he pops up in everything you mentioned. I remember him in, but I think it was.
He's great. He's great. Everything he does, I'm like, yep, you're doing your job. So, Martini Shot, would you recommend this movie?
Yes, I would. But
I see Trace's face.
Yeah, I'm saying yes. I actually wrote it down. I said I would recommend, but it may only be a one-time event. Everyone should watch it once. I personally don't think I would go back in for a second round. I think it's one of those movies like, oh, one time's enough. It is. It's a good one. I feel like I'm shocked once again that I haven't seen it before this, but I would recommend it just to have watched it, and I probably would say it's a one-time event.
I 100% agree with you. That was actually what I was going to say. Is I would recommend it, and you only have to see it once,
right?
Just to experience it, and then you're good.
It's an experience, exactly, a one-time thing, and then boom.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna say no for the same reason. I feel like the people who needed to experience this have already watched this movie and don't need to be told to watch it. So
yeah,
that's fair.
That's fair.
All right.
Having said that, I don't regret watching it.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, no, and I got that sense overall.
Yeah.
That you didn't regret it, but
no, I enjoyed it and it was fine, but
yeah, that's fair. You're a tough one to like. I feel like you.
Sell. She's a tough sell.
No. When it comes to the Martini Shot, you are like, I'm gonna be. Like, you understand that these fictitious people that we're recommending these movies to, their time is precious.
Their time is precious.
You're doing them a service. All right. So really quickly, does anybody have any movies or TV shows that they've been watching that they would recommend?
So I've been on a true crime kick, kind of. So I've watched Inventing Anna, which is about that was very good.
Yes.
The Thing About Pam, which was talk about quirky. It's a real life story. You can listen to the podcasts and Dateline episodes and stuff. But Renee Zellweger, the whole thing, the way it's shot has a very artistic vibe to it. It's very quirky, but it's all based in truth.
I kept seeing the trailer for it and being like, there's something about that's pulling me in, and I couldn't quite catch what it was. But
because it's very, I've never seen a true crime, almost a documentary shot artistically.
Interesting. Okay.
And not just like it's quirky.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was quirky. And then you're like, that couldn't have possibly have happened that way. She couldn't possibly sound like that. And then you see actual clips of like in the news. It's crazy.
Interesting. Yeah. I equated it to I, Tanya a little bit in that sense as well.
I haven't seen that, but
I haven't seen the Pam one, but when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that's got an I, Tanya vibe. Yeah. So I watched this weekend, and I know this podcast comes out like a month later, but I just watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. I highly recommend that for just about everybody. It is quirky. And the director calls himself a maximalist. It's a good way of describing his style because every little inch of footage in that movie is just teeming with visual data. So it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's great. But you have to pay a lot of attention to that movie. I highly recommend it for everybody.
Okay.
That's my recommendation of the week. All right. So now to our favorite part of the night, Well, it's my favorite part of the night because I get to pick. I get to hit.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next week's movie will be not next week's. Next episode's movie will be Home Alone.
Yes.
So middle of the year.
Should we save that for? Oh, all right. No, you know what? No.
Oh man, yeah.
Home Alone. Oh my
Home
God.
Alone.
Okay.
And you know what? This might be interesting. We're not in the haze of Christmas. We can watch this with clear eyes.
Yeah.
To see if it's actually a good movie or if it's just
right.
The original Home Alone, right? The first one.
The original, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just gonna, this is obviously a precursor, but you guys, I've seen this movie 1,000 times, and my sister and I, when we do get together at Christmas, we watch it again. So it's very fresh.
Oh yeah. This is on my, I have a list of movies I have to watch every Christmas, and this is definitely on it. Okay, thanks for joining us. If you like what you hear, you can find more great episodes over on our website, www.millennialsofthemoviehouse.com, or wherever you find your podcasts. Curious about updates, extras from our episode, or want to add your 2 cents a better reviewed movie? We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle for both is @themoviemillies. Check us out and make sure to follow us. So until next time,
we're millennials.
And we'll see you at the movie house.